Hey guys, Lord here, back again with another review, and today we'll be taking a look at the Super 7 Disney Ultimates Prince John from Robin Hood. And before we get into it here, let us first take a look-see at both the front and the back of the packaging. So without further ado, let's get into it. Now before we get into the meat and taters of this review, Prince John does come with a plethora of accessories. And before we get started here, I would like to mention that I'm trying something a little bit different as compared to when I reviewed Pinocchio from this line to make things go as quick and painless as possible. Whether or not that's going to be successful or not, we'll find out. But first things first, Prince John comes with 7 interchangeable hands, starting off with the 2 he comes packaged with. These open hands here, as his rings. Pretty cool. Second which, this pair of fist hands. Again, sporting his rings. The third set of hands. He is missing his rings because Robin Hood stole them. So there you go. And the final hand is this singular grip hand, which has the one ring on his middle finger. Well, it's not really a middle finger since he only has 3 fingers, huh? But would have been nice to get a grip hand for the other side. Also would have been nice if it had the appropriate hinge on it too, but it is what it is. Now there is one crucial hand missing from this figure, but we're going to get into that in just a moment. Next up, Prince John comes with 3 interchangeable heads, and going from left to right, the first one is the one to his right in the package where the crown is glued on, and he's just kind of got a standard stoic-y smiley face going on. Pretty basic head sculpt there. I might actually use this on my figure just because the crown does not pop off. And then, of course, the second head has the removable crown, which pegs into his ears here, which can be easier said than done, but yeah, better look at the face sculpt that Super 7 gave this character. I think they did a really good job, really captures the essence of the character. I'm going to just leave the crown off that head so we don't waste too much time here. And then the last head is a little bit more disgruntled and a little bit cheesed off because, well, Robin Hood did swipe his rings after all. And there is one head sculpt missing here, I think, and that goes back to the interchangeable hands. He does not come with a thumb-sucking head and hand, and that was a very crucial part of Prince John's character in the movie because, well, he is quite the mama's boy for those of you who haven't seen Robin Hood. Spoiler alert for, what, a 50-year-old movie, I know, but at the end of the day, kind of sucks it's missing, but he definitely has a lot going for him still. And last but certainly not least, Prince John comes with a few other accessories like good old Sir Hiss here. Almost said King Hiss. That's a Master of the Universe character, but Sir Hiss, not to be confused with Kaa from the Jungle Book, because, I mean, yeah, I could see the resemblance. He does have a hinge and swivel in the head there, so that's kind of nice. Pretty decent paint on here. Some people's come a little bit mucked up, but mine seems to be okay. But on top of coming with that Sir Hiss, he also comes with a strangled Sir Hiss because, you know, domestic abuse. And he also has the hinge and swivel in the neck here. And King Hiss's neck can fit in the grip hand from earlier. Just like that. So there you go. Also, Prince John comes with a mirror. Not sure how reflective that is. Can you see me? Hello. But you can fit that in his hand as well. But I will say, if you want to put him with the mirror, maybe do that before you put the Sir Hiss in there, because the grip does kind of get loose. So again, it would have been nice to have a second grip hand for the mirror specifically, but hey, it is what it is. So, with that being said, let's now move on and take a look at the aesthetic and articulation. Taking a closer look at our naughty old King of England here, and gotta be honest with you guys, this is most likely one of my favorite figures of the year so far. That said, after watching Robin Hood not once but twice on ye old Disney Plus, going on third probably by the time this video is posted, gotta tell ya, that's one of my favorite Disney movies of all time. That's saying a lot because I grew up with the Renaissance stuff, which is, for the most part, pretty good. I mean, there are some exceptions to that rule. I'm on range! But, as far as Disney movies go, I really enjoyed Robin Hood quite a bit. And after going on my Disney journey through Disney Plus and watching all the old movies again, I find that I like a lot of the older stuff a lot more. The pre-Renaissance films, if you will. And, while I know they are a bit insensitive compared to stuff they're doing today, I just think it's a lot better in almost every way, shape, and form because it just has this magic about it. And even though Robin Hood probably isn't the best example of that because it does recycle some animation from other movies and backgrounds and character designs and whatnot. I mean, let's face it, Little John is literally just a different version of Baloo, which, to be fair, they got their mileage out of that character design. I believe he was even in Fox and the Hound, and then, of course, Tailspin, where he was just Baloo again. So, you know, it is what it is. But I really like this movie, and it has a charm to it. It kind of reminds me of some of the Charlie Brown specials. There's just no bullshit in it. It's pretty straight to the point. There's not this over-exaggerated amount of exposition. You pretty much know what's going on throughout the whole movie. You don't need to know everything there is to know about Robin Hood to enjoy this movie. And that's what I like about it. It's pretty straightforward. So, with that being said, this figure is awesome. I love how he came out. Now, I have the alternate head with the crown glued on. Because while I do appreciate the fact that they gave you a head where the crown kind of bobbles around like it does in the movie, I prefer my figures to just not do that. Again, that does add character, but this works for me. I prefer this. And as far as articulation on this guy goes, this head will rotate around. Look up and down, tilt side to side. Pretty good range there. Arms go out to the side, go back down, go forward and back. Does have a swivel in the elbow. Single hinge at the elbow, which kind of hard to find that hinge because it's not really ideal considering how this guy is sculpted. But you do get about 90 degrees out of that. Does have a swivel and hinge in the wrist. Same hinge on all the hands as I said before. It's got a ball jointed tail here. Move all around. Swivel at the waist. It works fine. His hips can kick forward and back, in and out a little bit. They're on a bit of a wide joint, so it's not ideal, but it does work. He's got a swivel at the knee, single hinge at the knee, and he has a hinge at the foot with a rocker joint. I will say his feet are a little bit loose, so you may need to strengthen those up a little bit. But other than that, it's an awesome looking figure. And no peg holes at the bottom of the feet either. But other than that, this is an awesome looking figure. He's got his robe, courtesy of C. Jessam, so shout out to C. Jessam. They did a great job with this. And there's no wire in this, but I really don't need it to have one, other than maybe up around here. Because other than maybe a piece of Velcro or a little fastener to hold this thing shut, which is how it mostly appeared in the movie, it does kind of flare out a little bit. So it would have been nice to have something to hold that in place, like a wire around the collar, or again the little fastener or a piece of Velcro. But it's not that bad. I'm able to get it to sit where I want it to for the most part. And it does have the little spots here and there throughout the white fur elements, so that's nice. He does have his rings, his bling there, his little bling bling. He's got 3 more on this side. And then his oversized crown. Because if I'm not mistaken, this is King Richard's crown and robe. And side note, he was actually voiced by the same person as Prince John, so that's a little tidbit for you there. Some Robin Hood trivia. But with that being said, well, I do prefer kings of the more antlered variety obsessed with dark-colored pottery that can cause death and destruction and bring forth the apocalypse as we know it. Prince John is probably one of my favorite Disney villains. As far as a goofy one goes, I mean, he's not freaking Frollo or Maleficent or, dare I say, the Dark Lord of the underworld himself, Satan, aka Chernabog. But he is very funny, and I like him for that. Much like I like Hades and Captain Hook, I don't find them as major threats, other than maybe Hades, but they are really fun to watch. That said, Super7, can we get all those at some point, please and thank you? That would be really, really cool. And, you know, I do believe they are working on the one I mentioned earlier. What's his name? A Horn King! I can't think of it. But at any rate, we're actually gonna strip this guy down a bit, and I'm gonna show you what he looks like in his nightgown, because if you pop his hands off, you can get him to look like how he did towards the end of the movie during the climax of Robin Hood. So, with that being said, I'll be back in just one sec. And as promised, here's our naughty old King of England stripped down to his nightgown. Again, pretty easy to do. All you gotta do is pop the hands out. You can slide the robe off, but quick 360 here. You wanted to have Prince John appear like he does during the climax of Robin Hood, you could totally do that. That said, I'ma probably just leave the robe on mine because he looks so fly. So with that being said, let's now move on and take a look at some size comparisons. First up, here's Prince John next to the only other figures we've gotten in the Super7 Disney Ultimates line thus far, Pinocchio, and Mickey Mouse, as he appeared in the Sorcerer's Apprentice segment of Fantasia. And as you can see, compared to these two little squirts, Prince John has quite the substantial amount of size to him, clocking in at around the 7-inch mark, whereas Pinocchio and Mickey here are closer to your reaction figure 3.75-inch size. So definitely a lot more bang for your buck here. Next up, here he is alongside a couple other animated style figures, the Hasbro Marvel Legends PulseCon exclusive Venom from Spider-Man the Animated Series, and the McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse Batman from Batman the Animated Series. And while Prince John may not necessarily fit with these two particular lines, it would be kind of hilarious to see him get his ass kicked by Batman over there. Am I right, or am I right? And last but certainly not least, we have our two regulars, the Mythic Legions for the Mandibulus, the Living Spawn, who looks like he's about to send poor Prince John here to the fiery depths of Chernabog's back door. So with that being said, time to wrap things up. Some final thoughts. Overall, and what else can I possibly say about this figure that I haven't said already? Pretty sure I made it 100% clear in this review that I absolutely love this figure, much like the Robin Hood movie itself. Granted, I do feel like he is missing a couple of crucial accessories, in particular the thumb-sucking head and hand. Not quite sure why those were omitted. Are they offensive somewhere? I don't know, you guys tell me. I don't keep up with all that stuff. But that aside, I think he comes with enough accessories to get by, although being on the lighter side as far as these Disney Ultimates go. But you do get more bang for your buck as far as the figure itself goes. It is a pretty hefty chunk of plastic. He actually has quite a bit of weight to him, but that also makes him a little bit top heavy, particularly with my figure, because his feet and legs are a little bit loose in places, but that's not anything that can't be fixed. And I got him standing okay right now. He did topple over while I was trying to set him up here, but I can manage. It's nothing too bad, right? So if you're looking for a Prince John figure, then look no further. Not sure if there are any other offerings, but this is the best one. Yeah, this is the best one. I don't care if it's 50 bucks. This is the best one. If you want a Prince John, then pick this one up. I don't think you'll be disappointed. And, to say the very least, he could be a contender for one of the top figures of the year. I mean, he's probably going to get edged out by Robin Hood because, you know, it's freaking Robin Hood. He does come with that whole stork disguise thing and all. But, for the midway point, I don't think that's too bad, right? So that being said, hope you guys enjoyed this review. If you're so inclined, please don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you know whenever I upload more reviews like this one. If you haven't already, please hit me up on Instagram at Overlord Productions. But, as always, keep the comments civil. This world sucks enough as it is, especially when movies are underappreciated like good old Robin Hood here. And, with that being said, I want the rest of the characters from this movie. I want Little John, I want Maid Marian, I want Lady Cluck, and the Rhino guys she absolutely destroys. Spoiler alert for a 40-year-old movie, I know. Well, 50-year-old at this point, right? Damn, you guys are old. I want the Sheriff, and I want him to be as douchey as possible. And the Buzzards, and King Richard, even though he was in the movie for like 10 seconds. Oh, and Friar Tuck, and the Rooster guy, who's actually supposed to be Chanticleer, but I'm going on a tangent because, damn it, I love this figure, I love this movie, I want more stuff from it, so chop chop, Super 7, let's go! Until next time, I'll catch you guys later!